Do you see yourselves as being trendsetters, kind of starting a whole new trend in music toward...
Well, it's already happening, not with just ourselves, but there's all kinds of groups. God's taking over. His Spirit is being outpoured upon it's being poured out upon the whole world, and you're seeing Amy Grant rise up. You're seeing all kinds of people making stands. Mr. T, he makes a bold stand for God. People are coming out of the closet. They're not being ashamed. They're having some guts, which is what God's all about. There aren't any wimps. Christians shouldn't be wimps. You should be bold and strong, and again, not push it down people's throats, but believe and make a stand for what you believe in. And that's all we're doing. We're seeing lives change. We're seeing things happening. So that's all that matters.
Right. And speaking on the word trend, okay, what Stryper speaks of is not a trend. It may be something new where we're the first to do it in the way that we do it. I think there's going to be a lot of people who come out who, like Michael said, there's a lot of closet Christians who might just not feel good about taking a bold statement on what they believe in. But we're not starting a trend. Jesus Christ has been around for 2,000 years, and trends, fads, or gimmicks don't last that long, But I guess as far as taking the Word of God and combining it with rock and roll, it's something new. Stryper wants to be a leader and not a follower. And I feel that in today's rock and roll, there's a gigantic clonism going on. And I feel good about what we're doing, not only because we know it's right, but it's something new, and it's offering something different for people, and we know that it can change people's lives. And also we're seeing a lot of people who would never stand up before, standing up saying, hey, this is great. We know there are people out there that do want to take a stand, so we feel good about it too, and we're taking a stand.
There's some women in Washington now taking a stand on, there are a lot of bad things, they say, in record lyrics. It's a huge controversy also, so you guys fit right in. What do you guys think of the rating records and that whole issue?
How we feel on that is we're not for any banning of records or anything like that, any restriction of records, people pulling them from the shelves, because we don't feel that's right. What a few people are asking for is that parents and people who buy the records have the right to see lyrics before they buy them. Just know a little more of what they're buying in the album. I've done it myself. I bought albums before, and I didn't know quite what I was buying. I heard the music and I liked it, but the lyrics aren't too clear or something. And then you get it home, you read the lyric sheet, and you see a bunch of garbage, I think people just want to know a little more of what they're buying. And I think that would really help things out a lot. Not banning of records, that's not the answer. It's just going to make people go out and want them more, so...
Right. We're not for censorship at all, but I know one thing that we are for is people, we feel, taking the time to really write lyrics that uplift people, that build them up, instead of tearing them down. Stryper feels that we have a responsibility to the listening audience, of the world. When people buy your records or hear you on the radio, they take for serious what you say. And a lot of people today say, look, it's just a gimmick, what we're talking about. It's theater, it's an act. But there are a lot of kids out there who don't look at it as a gimmick. And they believe what the people are saying, and they copycat the situation, or they really take it to heart. And we feel that censorship is a bad thing. But I don't even think these people are talking of censorship. I really don't think that's what they're talking.
Right, everybody's on the, like when I did the TV show, Hills what was the name?
Headlines
on Trial. When I did that, they were stuck on the subject of rating of records and banning of records. I wasn't even there to talk about that, and I just kept telling them, Jesus, what it boils down to is, in the lyrics, it's sin. That's what it is with these groups. And groups should have more of a responsibility and realize the responsibility they have to their fans, and it's a big responsibility. A lot of groups say, hey, we're not responsible for our fans. We can write bad lyrics and they're going to listen to them, so what? If a kid goes and commits suicide, it's not our fault. You got to ask yourself, though, is it your fault? I believe it is, The lyrics really matter. It goes into the kids' minds, and it really, it can cause kids to do things.
Right, and what's incredible to me, I have heard a lot of rock and roll artists say that they're not responsible to their audience. But isn't it funny that the audience is responsible for putting gold records on that artist wall? Isn't it funny that the audience is responsible for packing out arenas at 10 or 20,000 people? The audience makes the group, and the group should give off a good and positive message to influence that audience, not to cause them to be full of hate or to be full of violence or to be full of rebellion. So, you know, and people might even look at the Stryper album and say, well, what are you guys doing? Here, you're promoting violence. That's not the case. I think people ought to look at an album as a whole, cover and record, but when it gets down to it, you're reading lyrics of I won't quote anybody, but when you're reading lyrics that are just obviously so blatant that all it's promoting is everything that's bad, I feel that's when artists ought to step back and say, hey, we do have a responsibility. Let's influence our audience to be good to one another.
Right.
Why is
Absolutely.
Why is music so powerful in influencing people?
Well, because music is everywhere. You hear it everywhere you go. You got it in your car. You have radios. Everybody listens to music. You know, maybe not everyone's into baseball, maybe not everyone's into football, or maybe not everyone is into being a musician or a doctor or a lawyer, but everybody is into listening to music, to some kind of music.
It's universal and it touches your heart. It's not only just something you listen to. You know, when you hear a good song, you go, wow, I got to hear that again, and punch it on rewind. It touches your heart. And it's a powerful thing. It really is. And that's why we feel that artists ought to have responsibility to their audience, because it is such a powerful thing.
Yes. Well, what is the future for Stryper's music 5-10 years down the line? Do you see changes or striving for what?
The future for Stryper is to do whatever God tells us to do. Right now, He's told us to do this, and we feel that we always will be rocking, you know, for God. The future, we really don't know what the future holds, because only God knows that, you know. We're not ones that look into the future and think, gosh, what are we going to be doing 10 years from now? We just take it day by day. We take it as it comes, and we take it as God gives it to us, and that's all we can do, you know.
But we know as long as we're doing what God wants us to do, He'll always show us what the next step is. You see, He always leads His people. So, we're not going to worry about it, because no one knows what their tomorrow is going to hold. You know, people plan a lot of things that always fall through. But we know that we're going to do what He instructs us, because we are soldiers under His command. And He's going to lead us and show us. So we know there is a future. I know one thing. We want to Stryperize the world. We want to tell people the good news that God has told us to tell people.
And I do believe that since we only have 2 minutes of tape left, we better wrap this thing up.
So the next album could be an album of polka music then?
Oh, I doubt that.
Well, no, not polka, but we were considering, what was that kind of music, Bobby, that you were talking about?
Mambo?
No,
not mambo.
No, seriously, the music is going to remain Stryper, but it will always be something that can touch and reach a lot of people.
See, we want to tell people too, you know, we are very serious, you know, and we do mean what we say in all the interviews and all the articles you read on Stryper. We mean exactly what we say, but we do have a sense of humor too. You know,
of course we do.
We're a bunch of funny type guys. We do clown around a lot, so if we always sound so serious in our interviews, believe me, we do have a sense of humor.
No, we have both, but we are serious about what
you got to
we
just
say
say something to make us laugh, and then you'll hear us laugh, you know.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's been nice talking to all of you listening to the vinyl right now, and I guess we're going to see you real soon. What do you have to say to him, Mike?
Well,
can you do a scream for him?
Well, that's another thing. Michael's a little sick today, so
Michael's throat has inflamed to twice.
We hope you
size.
enjoy the music you hear on the single and the album, if you have the album, and we hope to continue to put out good music for you guys to listen to, and God bless you all, and thank you so much for supporting what we stand for.
See you later.
Thank you, Michael and Robert.